Foam Town's hitting the road come this April. First up, we're heading to Boise, Idaho for TRCMA 2023, where the Cleaner Cast will be streaming live on YouTube. On my channel, it's going to be me and the Canadian cohort, Alex Dewar, keeping you up to date on the Rag Company's biggest event of the year. And then I'm headed to Romeoville, Illinois for a meet and greet hosted by Car Supplies Warehouse. I'm going to be joined by the likes of Han the Organizer, Brian from Apex Detail, Rick from Red Garage, Carlos Serrano, Jessica Tran, Jimbo Balaam, and more. So come on out, come see us. I look forward to seeing you there. Boom, just like that. You know, Foam Town's hitting the road, Dewar. We're packed our bags.
It's coming so fast.
So fast. Yeah, the countdown is indeed on. But I'd like to welcome everybody to the Cleaner Cast live here on YouTube. And if you don't know, I'm Jamie the Cleaner. And on the other side of the virtual detail podcast studio is our Canadian cohort himself, Mr. Alex Dewar. Dewar, how's Canada going?
It's going good. We were discussing backstage a little bit of a weather phenomenon called a Chinook that we've experienced here. So if anybody in the comments has ever heard of that or experienced one, definitely chime in. For those that haven't, feel free to ask your questions and I'll answer it the best I can. And we'll save that for the end if we got some time. But we got our good friends DIY Detail here again. So they've been blowing up the internet recently. You know, the TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all over the place. It's fantastic. But
that's right.
But yeah, we're doing good up here. I can't believe it's already March.
I thought y'all were making up words, you know, behind the scenes there. I was like, oh, but then they asked me if I knew what a Chinook was, and I do not know what that is. But they explained to me it's some kind of draft over a mountain, and it's hot and it's cold, and I don't know, guys. I live in the swamp. That's all I got. We don't have drafts from mountains.
Nope. That's okay.
Yeah. But you know what it is. I got links in the description to the Cleaner Cast. That's the best way to support the podcast. JTN will save you there. And I got a link in the Cleaner the Cleaner Stash to DIY Detail. Promo Jamie 10 will save you there as well. And we're going to talk about it all this podcast. The gold standard polishing system is a top notch. They got the whole thing rolled out, I do believe. They got the polish, the pads, the waffle foam. I do love waffles, and wool, and I do love wool. So a fantastic system, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. But if you want to try it out, want to save a little bit, Jamie 10 will save you there. So Dewar, what you got going on your side screen?
Yeah, so our friends at TOC have been pumping out a lot of videos recently. They've been coating some wheels, some fancy BBS wheels. Not sure what they're going on, but you know, should be exciting either way. But bringing in all kinds of new fun stuff. They just released a rewards program, which is really cool. So for my Canadian friends, be sure to check that out. And DIY Detail just dropped there recently, so be sure to pick up that whole line, half the line, some of the line, whatever you want. Whole line ideally, because I mean, why not? Go big or go home. Spring's coming. That's detail season around here. And yeah, Bucky VW gets you 10% off there. So save a little bit of money prior to the spring cleaning. You know, tax time is around the corner. Get your tax return, drop it on some detail products. Why not?
That's right. And I saw Mr. Serrano was in the chat. He was just on the DIY Detail podcast. Fantastic listen. If you ain't listened, go check it out on the DIY Detail channel. But Dewar, what you say we get them on here?
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic idea. Looking forward to it.
Unless you got some good Canadian stories you want to tell us beforehand. You got anything?
No, but when you, I did have to say with your waffles comment, we also do love waffles, and we have one of the best toppings on the planet: true Canadian maple syrup, fresh tap from the tree. That's the good stuff on different kind of waffles, but we'll explain the polishing kind of waffles here in a little bit. So
that's right. Well, everybody, this is their second appearance on the Cleaner Cast. Missed the first one. I go back list. It was fantastic, but they hadn't rolled out their new gold standard polishing system yet. It's been a slow rollout as of they've been waiting on it to in and get labels and that and get the foam right. But they've slowly rolled it out, first with the spray polish and then with the waffle pads and the 5-inch sole fast. But all that's back in stock, I believe. And then they finally rolled out the wool pad. So now it's ready. It's all there. So we're about to get into it, talk about it, and learn all the, the development, all that good stuff. And I wanted to also highlight the short success from DIY Detail. They've been successful with the shorts and in a short amount of time. Only been around about 6 months or so. And boy, have they stirred up some controversy with some of their shorts. So we'll get into that as well, everybody. Yeah. It's Ivan and Nick from DIY Detail. Welcome them on to the Cleaner Cast.
The gold standard system.
My final review. It's amazing. My shop smells like bananas.
This is truly a game changer.
5 seconds with roughly 5 pounds of pressure. You want to release the pressure before you create heat, but when you've eliminated the scratch.
Just like that. Okay, welcome, Nick and Ivan. How's it going?
Doing great yourselves.
Good, fantastic. Good. So yeah, the gold standard has arrived, and y'all been hitting it, hitting the ground running, stirring up controversy, all that good stuff. But where are y'all at today, and how's it been this week? We'll start with Nick.
I'm in the DIY Detail podcast studio, aka my closet in my room. Penny, you want to say hi?
Very nice.
My daughter Penny is watching this with fascination. There's a green screen behind me. I got a light here, trying to do it like the Cleaner Cast does it. So, how about you, Ivan?
Well, I'm in somewhere in Georgia, near Macon, Danville, Georgia. That's the name of the little town. So I'm here for a week doing a bus event, and we'll be having fun here, showing people how to build buses and live the nomad lifestyle.
Is that over or underrated, Ivan?
The nomad lifestyle, very, very underrated.
Okay.
We have no bills other than a bit of fuel once in a while. We're good to go. So.
Yeah,
right. But you have to be able to fix everything. That's what I've noticed every time we spend extensive amounts of time together. You're always tinkering with the engine and all kinds of things. And I feel like when things go wrong, you can't be the guy who needs to call someone. Like, you have to be pretty handy to handle that lifestyle.
It helps, but Sylvie's good at that. So.
Okay.
It's like a cross between a mechanic and a carpenter all at the same time.
Exactly, yeah.
So I feel like the bus, I don't know, the buses hold up better than like big motorhomes. I feel like every time I hear someone investing into a motorhome, it's just broke down all the time. Wheels fly off down the highway. Like, it's just a disaster, those things.
Yeah.
I think the bus crowd is, I think you get a lot more for your money with a bus, and you can kind of, as Ivan's shown on some of his videos of the bus tours, you can kind of customize it to how you like it. Whereas the RV, you're kind of stuck with a bit of a floor plan. You're not as free to do what you want.
Well, actually, if you guys want, during TR SEMA, you'll be able to do the broadcast from the bus if you want.
I'll be there. Definitely something. Yes.
Yeah, Ivan's in his kitchen right now. Also his living room.
Yeah.
No, I'm in the dining room actually.
Okay, yeah, okay, yes. No, I'm giving you a hard time. You actually have an amazing bus. Like, I joke about it, but there's more room in there than people think. And yet, it's a small enough space that if things start to get a little messy, like when you have a small space, you really have to keep up on it, right?
Yeah.
But you're an organized man. You're efficient. Doesn't happen.
OCD is life. Yes.
And speaking of messy, boy, the comments on some of y'all's videos gets quite messy. But we'll work up to that. I want to know from the start, with this new gold standard system, I want to know the development, the race, the controversy. Let's start from the beginning. We knew Ivan liked waffles and liked spray polish, but let's kind of start from the beginning. Wherever y'all want to start with that.
Wait, I'm distracted by Eddie's comment. When I smell, I rub the golden standard polish on my body, and I smell like banana pie.
Wonderful.
And Eddie, give her love to Bev. She just went through her operation today. She got out of the operating room about an hour and a half ago. So all our love is going to you. But
that's right.
Where did the gold standard polish come from?
Yes.
Okay. First of all, we wanted a system that the do-it-yourselfer could use, have fun with, and not stress over, some of the peculiarities of some polishes. A lot of polishes, they do great at one thing, but they're not good at other things. We wanted a good performer all around. And that was a long road, a lot of development there to get something that isn't going to dust, is going to cut, is going to finish, and is very, very pad dependent. So there are some, one and done polishes out there. They're actually quite good. There's a lot of them out there, and they are pad dependent, but not as much as ours. Our abrasive technology is a little different than most. It's aluminum oxide, but it's a combination of SMAT and DAT. So we have the two going on at the same time, which gives us the cut that we need and the finish that we want.
Right.
And then
and it had to be sprayable. That was a big thing with Ivan. Like we had this polish pretty much where we wanted it. And Ivan, you even we talked about it. You're like, I'm just not satisfied. I mean, it was almost like, well, you could put polish in a bottle and put a sprayer on there, but that's not what we're doing. It had to be designed to spray. So there were tweaks along the way where we got it to kind of where we wanted it, and then we had to continue the development of it.
Yeah,
I like
the spraying aspect.
Spray that it fits into the theme of the DIY theme. It makes it simple. How much do I apply to this pad? How do I prime the pad?
I remember Ivan saying that years ago with, you know, a pea-sized drop can vary where you are, and a spray is relatively consistent.
How big is a pea?
Yeah.
And, I'm cheap. So it fits into that as well, because one spray is about equivalent to one pea-sized drop.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you're putting 3 or 4 pea-sized drops on your pad, which is normal, you're actually using 3 to 4 times the amount of polish that we're putting on with one spray. So that 16-ounce bottle is going to go as far as other people's half gallon. So it definitely carries a lot of cut in a little package.
It really does. And you've heard people kind of not be able to figure out the spray method of it. What I always say is just get your pad clean in the pad washer, right? It's lightly damp. It's still free spinning. And it's just one spray firm with conviction. A lot of people will be like, yeah, and they'll just kind of stoop on there in one little glob. You want that pad spinning, a firm spray with conviction, kind of closer to the outer edge of the pad, and you'll just watch it sort of splatter and spread on that pad. You're good to go. Like, that is that simple. So once you get that down, Ivan's methodology, which I know you've always kind of been preaching this since your days at another company, where it's like, it could not be easier or more efficient product-wise to just use the one spray. So once you get it, guys, it's money.
Yeah. I'd never tinkered with the spray polishes before until the gold standard. So you can see my videos. Literally, I took it out the box, started recording, and played with it. And I drew like a smiley face on the pad. I was like, this is closer than you think it will be. And yeah, good firm spray is going to get you that nice coverage.
Honestly, I'll say this because I've only been honest like my whole time on YouTube or whatever. With Ivan, it's easy to look at his methods and say, this is a bunch of baloney, right? Try it. That's all I'm going to say. Try it before you knock it with Ivan's. Because, like, I don't know where you come up with this stuff, Ivan. Probably 40 years in the game. But you come up with all these efficiency hacks. And you mentioned controversy right on the bottom of the screen, the development to release the controversy. And we can get into that. But when you try Ivan's methods, that's when you sort of start to see the wisdom of them. And that includes the sprayable polish.
Yeah.
Well, Ivan's stirred up controversy, through the whole. You start with no rinse, start preaching this no rinse shenanigans. People don't know what's going on. So that's just kind of the territory of what Ivan does.
Exactly. Now every company has a rinseless wash. So
that's right. Yeah, everybody. Everybody.
Not too many of them have a sprayable polish though. The other aspect that we did was the pad development, and that we got help from our friends at Lake Country Manufacturing. They've been in the pad world since the 70s. They know their way around a polishing pad, and I had worked for them in the past, and I worked with them developing pads for other companies. So the first thing we wanted was an all-around pad, and that's the waffle pad. So the yellow or the gold foam waffle pad, thick enough, it's not the word I'm looking for. Not thick, stiff enough.
Stiff enough, firm.
Yeah, that you're not going to get a lot of micro marring. That's characteristic to a soft foam pad or a foam finishing pad. You can get micro marring with because the pad's moving around in a direction that it doesn't want to go on it, especially on a 21 millimeter DA.
Sure.
So with the stiffer foam, we're eliminating that swing. And I think it was back in 2017 or 18 when GM changed the clear coat on their pickup trucks, and the black GM paint became known in the industry as the worst paint in the world. And in testing different pads to solve that issue that people were having with micro marring, came to the realization that a heavy cutting pad with a finishing polish actually did a better job than a finishing pad on a DA, not on a rotary, but on a DA. So that was a bit of the impetus to use that foam. The color didn't hurt either, the gold standard. And then from there, the cutting pad which is the Lake Country Hyper Foam, or Purple Foamed Wool. That's
Purple
it.
wool,
So
yep.
the Lake Country Purple Foamed Wool, but in a much shorter nap. They've been making it for
Okay.
years for a
gonna ask.
rotary with a 3/4 or a 1-inch nap. And if you've ever tried that pad on a DA, you're going to realize that it's not a lot of fun. It just gums up and makes your polish not enjoy its life. So we went to a very short nap, and with again the same foam that's relatively stiff. So you're going to get a lot of cut with that pad, to the point that on a DA it actually cuts faster than the good old wool pad on a rotary, and that freaks a lot of people out, thinking that the DA will cut faster than a rotary. So that's where a few of the comments came in.
Yeah, I like the wool. I've never tried the waffle pads before, so these are actually first spray polish and waffle pad combination. So I'm definitely enjoying the process, and I think the specialty of the waffle pads and the wool pads are that they run cooler, that kind of deal, which is great.
Have
for
you
the
noticed
DIY
that, Jamie?
market as well.
That you can run that yellow waffle on paint for a while and even put a little pressure if that's what you're gonna do, and it stays cool.
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
again, that's one of those things where Ivan
pad
says it,
washer
but
as
you
well.
have to try it to really see it happen.
Yeah, run the pad washer as well. With just a rinseless in it, and so my pad pretty much stays completely cool at all times. I never had to deal with the heat, and especially here, heat is a major problem. So I'm like washing that pad, every panel, not taking any chance, cooling it off, cleaning it out. Both pads have been fantastic so far, but yeah, it runs cooler.
Are you doing work in your garage, or are you out on the driveway a lot, like with paint correction?
No, I pull it as much in the garage as we can get it. The tailgate is sometimes direct sunlight kind of deal, but
yeah.
Or if TRX comes in, maybe a lift, that's not fitting in the old cleaner studio. So I've done a couple of corrections out there in the sunlight, but we get through it.
Dude, you're getting it done, man. That's what it's all about.
That's right. Yeah. Listening to the Carlos podcast, I don't know how he does it all his stuff mobile in Texas. I'm like, how do you do it? Dude is a machine.
Dude knows how to work, man. He knows how to work.
Yeah.
He's a grinder.
And how he loves interiors. I'm like, wow.
Didn't he say yes on the DIY Detail podcast, Ivan? I can't remember the exact words, but it was yesterday, so I can't remember. That tells you something. But man, I just get emotional. I just love interiors so much. When I get inside and do an interior, I'm just so happy or whatever. I was like, dang, dude, you really love interior detailing that much.
Some people are like that. It's crazy.
Are you like
great
that?
I don't mind interiors personally, but I mean I see more of there's potential for a bit more of a transformation, if you have a real nasty mom-mobile with kids and kind of the whole nine, it's a bit more than some of the people that don't care to see a scratch or a swirl or don't know what it even looks like. But yeah, it's always fun to do the interiors once in a while, until you come across glitter or anything sticky, then it's not so fun.
Yeah. Once you master your process and kind of get your chemicals down, it definitely kind of lightens the load and does make it more enjoyable for sure.
Yeah.
But time. Back to the topic at hand with the gold standard polish system. Let's talk about the release. It had to delay, 3 or 4 months, and we finally got it out beginning of the year. So walk us through the process, how happy y'all are with the release of the product.
Go ahead, Nick.
Very happy. Just in terms of even as a business, right? We worked really hard to get these products out, and there were some delays with the pad and then the polish labels. Yeah. And Ivan and I happen to be in Omaha, where our headquarters are based, and we get there about every couple of months. We batch film a ton of content, and then I'll shoot content here in Utah and spend my days kind of editing and working social media. But we happened to be in Omaha at the time when everything finally was ready, and we did a YouTube Live and then a Facebook Live. And our website and our sales just spiked. And all of a sudden it was all right, we're going to make it. You know what I mean? Because we're a startup. We're a brand new company. And we put our all into this. I quit my full-time career. This is what we do. And when we saw people not only purchasing, but then a week and then 2 weeks and 3 weeks later, loving the gold standard polish, that I think was the pedal to the metal on our business, honestly. And that really has given us a ton of spark and a ton of fire. And I feel I'm just grateful to see that it's not just a one-time sale, but the reviews have been really good. So,
Yeah.
we wanted to do it right. And unfortunately, when humans are involved, it just takes us a while to sort of like, we don't want to do it before it's right. And so the wool pad, the waffle pad, you can see there on the website. I don't know. People are loving it. Ivan, feel free to chime in.
Yeah, definitely. The pads are doing what they're supposed to do. It's a system that we designed as a system. Now, you can use our pads with other brands of polishes. They're going to work just great. You can use our polish with other brands of pads. But we really spent a lot of time and a lot of effort to make it a system. And, that system, basically, we wanted to take all the guesswork out of it. In my shops, when I was running my shops, we didn't have multiple pads and polish choices for our employees. We had 3. That was it. 1 polish, 3 pads. And occasionally a compound would sneak in there if necessary. But even that, our body shop techs ended up using the sprayable polish with the wool pad. They would just sand to 1500 and take it from there.
Right.
So they didn't need to have any more aggression. And with the gold standard polish, one of the issues with other sprayable polishes in the past was the dusting and the fact that they, if you overwork them, it was like getting concrete off the paint. And with that, we were able to eliminate that. Actually, the gold standard, the more you work it, the easier it is to work and the easier it is to wipe off, which is a little contrary to popular, it's not the way things work normally.
Right.
So our chemist really knocked it out of the park with that one. So that was a great
perfect for the
advancement for
DIY market. Longer working time, pads keep cool, it's safe for trim. I didn't even bring that up. This is all stuff you're checking the box for the perfect kind of DIY polish that anybody can pick up and go down with.
I look at it, Jamie, like how I measure it is, could you teach your wife or my dad, could anybody teach a family member who has a passing interest in this but is not an expert to use it? And this polishing system, if you do it the way Ivan says, absolutely.
Yep.
And,
absolutely.
And the brand new DIYer with their little sander, their 5-inch dual action sander that they've had in the garage for a decade, I mean, are they going to get like a 25% improvement? Probably. And that's all they need. The pad might not rotate. They may go too fast, too slow. But if they follow the way that we say, yellow waffle, you know what I'm saying? Like you get the pad washer, you just wash the pad off and wring it out, put it back on the backing plate, spin it out, get it mostly dry, 1 spray of polish. If you do it the way that Ivan really has like designed the system, it really works. Like, we're not talking about Jason Kilmer, Riddler cars, like sanding it 10 times and you know what I mean? All these layers of clear. But the average person can get results. And I kind of look at it like ceramic gloss, like it's a great product that anyone can use, but pros love it too. Same thing with Gold Standard. Like Gold Standard absolutely works for pros as well. That product and I think ceramic gloss too are just amazing for sort of any end user ever.
Yeah, and going to the kind of, you brought it up and I brought it up in the intro, is how successful y'all have been with the shorts. So when y'all were ready to release the gold standard polish, you're ready to go get that content out there, and it's made leaps and bounds, social media wise, with the number of followers and subscribers, and hopefully that's all translated to sales as well. But the shorts, Nick, I loved what you said. I think we were talking a couple weeks ago, and you're like, I just, can chop up anything Ivan says and make a great short out of it. Pretty much.
Yeah. So we shoot these long form videos, and I'll like I said, I'm in my closet with a green screen, right? Like it's okay. There's nothing to hide here. So Ivan and I will shoot together. I've got the iPhone. I want to open this up so people don't think there's like some mystical. How do you do all this? I think I have like the latest iPhone 14, but I mean, that's expensive, but think about a crazy DSLR and everything, right? So I have an iPhone and I have these these DJI wireless mics, and it clips right into my iPhone, and that's what we use. And then Adobe Premiere, right? So we'll shoot a long form video. I shoot it at, I think, cinematic, 4K, 24 frames per second if there's any nerds out there, and then I do like the f-stop or whatever, like 7.1, so it's not super blurry in the backdrop. But cinematic is cool because in post, if you're still on your iPhone, you can actually change the focus point. So if you got way up to the camera and it focused on here, in cinematic, I can actually change the focus point back to here. So these iPhones are amazing, right? So we shoot on an iPhone and the DJI mics. I'm just saying, like, this is 6 months in. This is how we've done it. And then we'll shoot these long form videos, and then I'm trying to pump out 2 to 3 of them a week and do them well. But as I'm editing, I just listen for those little nuggets of gold, and about 85% of them are from Mr. Ivan. And I just chop it up. So if anyone out there wants to know how we do this, you literally take the video, I create a new sequence, and I do 1080 by 1920. So your standard video is the other way. It's horizontal. But 1080 by 1920 is the vertical version. That's all you have to do. Change your sequence settings to that, turns it into a vertical video. So if you're shooting a long-form podcast or a video of you detailing a car and you're trying to get on TikTok or YouTube Shorts or Instagram with the Reels, that's all you have to do.
Yeah.
And then we use this app. It's called Captions. I think it was like $50, right? All this stuff is pay to play. You got to put a little skin in the game. And then that's where we put the captions on the bottom. And I just try to literally pump out every time I hear a short. I try to get out at least 2 a day. Maybe 5 a day would be better. But there's just a lot of ways to make one piece of content work for you. And I heard Gary Vaynerchuk talk about this. And he repackages old stuff all the time. And so I just feel like you have to get out there with content. And so that's my job, right? And so thankfully, Ivan has all this wisdom, and we'll talk about it. I'll be like, Ivan, that's great. And you're like, Ivan will be like, that's just common sense. Ivan doesn't even think about it as some gift to the detailer out there. But I'm like, I've never heard that before. You pressure wash one door at a time, and then you're done. And then you go to, I'm just like, you know what I mean? I'm all over the place, So it's little stuff like that. I'm grateful for Ivan because he's got the wisdom and I have the ear for it because I was a journalist for so many years. So I can kind of hear the sound bites and I can kind of know how to package things. And it's it's been good so far.
Great tip.
Very cool.
That's where a bunch of, I think the YouTube community is kind of missing that, taking their long form, chopping it up, now bring it to the short form platform. That's what needs to be happening because you're missing, a big market. And I think y'all showed that the shorts can propel you to that next level. Sure.
Well, Starnagloss, what's his name?
Right. Yeah.
What's his
Jack?
name? Jack. I interviewed him at SEMA on the Hawk Pro detailing channel I have. And he was talking about how he sees a lot of guys out there on YouTube with the long form videos, but he's like, my goal is to, he didn't say kill it, but this is the way he's like, to kill it on TikTok and Instagram and I guess YouTube Shorts as well. He's like, that's where I want to win. And I was like, ooh, this guy's doing well. I better listen to some of his advice, So, but I honestly think you can't have just one. You don't want to be totally siloed because you hear little Ivan snippets, the guy with the beard and the mustache. And, we get a lot of first-time people on TikTok especially. But then they have a place to come find us and get to know us with the long form, So with all of anyone's infinite time out there between detailing cars all day, maybe another job, and maybe an actual life, go ahead and spend all that time editing videos and cutting them up into shorts and try to get some sleep in there too, because I know it takes a long time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And going back to Ivan,
he's like, I got a kid, man. I'm tired.
Going back to Ivan's nuggets that he thinks has been years he's been preaching most of this, especially the infamous 5x5. Was it 5x5 technique?
5-5-5.
5-5-5. Okay. I threw some extra syllables in there. But anyway, the 5x5 technique, we've seen Ivan do it. Watched that video, and, I was like, okay, classic Ivan right there. 5-5-5, got it. Okay, yeah. DIY, spray polish. Bing, boom, you're done. Shiny car. Nothing about it. Next day, I get back on, the app, and this thing has taken a life of its own. There's video responses. There's this, there's that. The controversy of the 5-5-5 technique video has went wild. But so you want to walk us through that of Nick uploading the 5-5-5 video and then waking up the next morning to pandemonium?
To a lot of comments, yeah. And thankfully, most of the comments are positive. So that is great. Yeah. But, there is the odd person out there that has never tried it and thinks it's not going to work. And because they think it's not going to work, they're not going to try it. And they, want to help us with the algorithm, getting more comments on there. The more comments we have, the more, the algorithm doesn't know it's a good or bad comment. So the more comments there are, the better it is for us. So thank you very much for all those comments. But that being said, you read some of the comments and then you'll get, 4 or 5 negative ones and you'll get a couple positive ones. And the most positive ones are people that have actually tried the technique and go, oh yeah, it works. Trust me, I've tried it and it's gold. So, that's what we're trying to do is we're trying to educate. And sometimes when you're educating, you can stir the pot a little bit. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we had no intent of making that a controversial video in any way, shape, or form. Nick on his Hawk Pro channel, I had done the 555 video or 555 technique while doing a training with him. And even Nick was like, that's not going to work. No, not going to. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say when I did it on my channel as a video, and that video did wildly well, like 3 years ago, I camped out for a little bit longer. So I would do 5 pounds of pressure, speed 5. What's the third one? For 5 seconds?
5 seconds. Yeah.
And I just hung out on the panel. It was like, 2, 3, 4. And in the video, Ivan, I don't think you pressed as hard as I did, right? And the goal is to never let the backing plate stop spinning. So you're not going to press that much and you're not going to get that much heat. But in my video, I just did it for 5 seconds right here on the scratch and it worked great. But in this video you did, I feel like you put on less pressure and you actually were moving your arms. So you got the visible scratch removed, but there were a lot of haters saying, well, you didn't actually get to it. And I think you could actually take the 555 step a little bit further in a different video, and we might do that where you showcase how it can be a more aggressive but still a safe way to get the
really aggressive version of it.
Yeah. And what I found funny is you have some people saying the scratch is still there, and then you have other people saying that wasn't a scratch, that was just white marker. So
we don't even have a white marker
in
in that garage. Yeah.
But that was the gentleman that owns that truck. It's his hunting truck. And that was a branch scratch going down the side of the truck. And when we brought the truck back to him, he was like, wow, you got rid of the scratch. So even the owner thought it was a scratch. Yeah. But
that's what's funny. If you would have made that video different and said, hey guys, today we're going to fix a little of paint transfer day with this technique of boring classic video. Instead, you're like, we got a scratch. This is how we're going to fix it. Scratch gone. And that's a much better video than actually explaining this and that and how deep the scratch is and let's get the paint gauge.
Right.
So
and we also learned that there is a big gap between what some people call a scratch and what other people call a scratch. So some people were saying that's not a scratch. It's not down to the metal yet. Wow. And then you have other detailers. Literally, that's one of the comments. It's not down to the metal. It's not a scratch. So therefore, detailers that say that, hey, I've taken all the scratches off this paint. Are you saying that you've taken all the paint off the car? No. So, it's a different thing. But like you said, we can never tell how deep a scratch is until we remove the scratch. And my goal has never actually been to remove scratches. I want to round over the edges of the scratch so that the consumer doesn't see it anymore. But I want to leave as much paint as possible in the process. And that is what the 555 accomplishes. It rounds over the corners. The wool pad is very aggressive with a DA, but you're rounding over the corners. It eliminates the appearance of the scratch, unless you're getting up there with the scan grip light and all that fun stuff. The average consumer is looking at it going, there's no scratch there.
Yeah. And like
Ivan's saying is shiny scratches, right, Ivan?
Exactly.
That's right. Make shiny scratches. That's what I do a lot. But going back, like you said, when he came and picked up his truck, he was like, hey, you removed that scratch. I get that all the time. People come in, they're like, I don't even know if you can do anything with this. And it's like a little transfer. And I'm like, oh, that's going to take 2 seconds. I know how much it's going to take, but I don't tell them that. I'm like, yeah, we can do something with that. Look a little better. I completely fix it. They're like, wow, you really did something there. And
under promise, over deliver.
Yeah. So the average client, is their knowledge of scratches and paint transfer. Like you said, they just refer to it as scratches. So, and you have the smart client come in who really knows his stuff, wants a full 2-step paint correction, this and that, but that is few and far between, especially in my world. In fact, I think I've ever had a client come up to me and, have a full list of what they want done to their vehicle. That's just not happening in Coshada, Louisiana. It might happen one day, but, when I first watched the video, I was like, yep, that's what I get, all the time. Big scratch, fix it real quick. That's the conclusion. So, what a controversy! It's been fun to watch. I'll say that.
They with the positive or negative comments, engagement, no matter how you look at it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Feed the algorithm.
Exactly.
People comment on mine, and I'll just tell them, thanks. They have no idea what I'm making them for. I'm like, thanks for the comment. But, Nick, you wanna say anything to round us off the controversial arc?
I've enjoyed watching it, and I always just try to engage with people as a human and be like, listen, here's what I think. Thank you for the comment. And once that happens, I think it can diffuse things. But there have been a few people. There was a guy, Shine Doctor. I know he's very into like high-end paint correction, but he just wouldn't stop. Like it was a vicious attack on Ivan and me, and how we were liars, and how if we were just going to be DIYers and stay in that lane, but we're lying, and there's people who are doing 8-step paint corrections out there and like doing amazing work and elevating the industry, and we're like deceiving customers. And I was like, man, there's truth in there too about like how there are guys who are doing great work with heavy, correction and sanding and polishing and spending a lot of time doing it. But I think both can be true at the same time. And there was just, it wasn't a conversation. So I think he's one of the few people, and if he's listening, man, there was no disrespect there. I was trying to engage, and, whatever you think is valid, right? Because there are people out there, and we all know it can be kind of a lonely thing, polishing on a car for 20 hours, working all alone in the detail shop or as a mobile detailer. Like, sometimes you get real strong emotions, and you care deeply about this industry that you've devoted and sacrificed so much for, and it comes out in the comments. And so I just think it's hard with words on a screen versus like interacting in person. So I'll bet you if we had a chance to shoot the breeze at a training or something, we'd have some good conversations about the industry. And obviously that can't happen for everybody. But I mean, and I don't respond to all the comments because some of them are technical things that Ivan teaches. And like with the 555 shorts, the TikTok video and the one on Instagram, we got like 3 million views in 2 weeks. So I couldn't keep up with all the comments, but we definitely try. It's definitely like not meant to ignore people when they comment just because it's negative. Like we try to have a conversation as much as you can in the little. Like TikTok has very like limited amounts you can say in a comment. You can do like 3 lines.
Yeah, I know. I know exactly what you're talking about, and I'm like, I hate that. I really don't like TikTok anymore. But like going back to the the 20-hour paint corrections, and the client comes pick up the vehicle, and they give you the exact amount of change they owe you, and say thanks, and you get in your car and go to the tunnel wash or something, where you fix that big scratch for a client, and like give you a 20 extra, and really happy about it. I don't know. These guys, what I didn't like was there was some viciousness. Bunch of these comments I was seeing from other detailers in this industry, and some of them, respectable, and that's as far as I'll take that. But that's what I didn't like about the situation. But I think we're pretty much past it now. And what's funny is if they actually try a waffle pad and a gold standard spray polish, they'd probably be pretty dang impressed with it. Is all I got to say.
I polished a giant F-250 truck with a rotary. Actually, the only rotary I had was I'm in a new shop in Utah, and I just got my dual action now. I don't have a rotary at the moment, but he had this like Harbor Freight rotary. It feels like it weighs about 80 pounds. I'm like, all right, man, I'm going to do it. Ivan, I love you, brother. Let's do this. So I just like one-stepped it with the rotary and the yellow pad and the gold standard polish, and it looked amazing, man. And I was like, nice. I guess I've been a skeptic that a rotary leaves a better finish than a dual action, but like again, if you haven't tried it, I would highly suggest it. And Ivan is a great resource because even in person, I was like, man, I've put 200 hours behind a rotary, but like tilting it, grinding with a wool pad and compound, and just for that one speed finishing step, Ivan would be like, nope, like the pad is just tilted a little bit. So to have Ivan there in person to sort of help my technique and be like, nope, you want the full circle of the pad visible in your polish track so you can make sure it's flat the whole time. Just stuff like that where you have someone in person to coach you. Then it's like, oh, Ivan, once again, you knew what you were talking about. This actually works, right?
Yeah, technique is so important. It's you can have the best products in the world no matter what it is, but if your technique isn't good, then you're not going to get the results you desire.
Yeah, and off camera, Nick really insulted every old guy out there because he said, you guys never had good paint before we had DAs. It's like, come on.
All right. I'm gonna speak the truth. So Andy Be Cool told me that with Clean Freak Mobile Detailing in Florida or whatever. I think he's Koch Chevy's main trainer, but Andy and I are good buds from some different trainings in the past. And he's like, yeah, I always finish with dual action. Like, you can't finish down with the rotary. Like, and that's where I got it from. But like, we were commiserating, like, man, I just don't know. Like, can you really finish down with the rotary? Like, Ivan says you can. This was a long time ago, and he's like, no, you got to use the dual action. And I guess I was proven wrong. But I had to like have you show me the technique, Ivan, to fully understand it. And it's not difficult, but I could see how someone picks up a rotary and doesn't quite know how to use it, and just gets frustrated and quits early. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, with the rotary, it's very simple. If it feels like you're working, you're doing something wrong. So, the machine, if you need more than 2 fingers to guide it, yeah, you're probably doing something wrong again. So that's, few of the little things. But I see people, they hold on to it and they've got a death grip on it. You're not going to get good results, and you're not going to enjoy yourself. So, little word of wisdom or nuggets, as you put it, if it feels like you're working, you're doing it wrong.
Excellent. Yeah, hopefully me and Dewar
Unless
get the crash
you have
course
an 80-pound rotary. Get the flex. Get the flex lightweight. What is the model that we both love, Ivan? The 13?
14-1 PX or I forget now. But it's the 14-150. Anyways, it's their rotary.
It's their rotary. It's worth every penny. It's like it's feather light and it's so smooth, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And if you can't afford that one, Max Shine and what is it, SPTA? Yeah. What's it? And the one that Carzilla sells, I forget their
ShineMate.
Brand. ShineMate, yeah. Those 3 rotaries are actually pretty good. They're actually better than some more expensive rotaries because they're lightweight. And a lot of people think that a rotary needs a lot of power. Like that big Harbor Freight one you're using that you can basically stand on it and it wouldn't slow down.
Yeah.
If you're using the rotary that way, as far as I'm concerned, you're damaging yourself as well as the paint, as well as the tool.
Sure.
And it feels like I said before, if it feels like you're working, you're doing something wrong.
Right. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Dewar, you got anything about the whole controversy about the 555 video? Yeah, I mean, actually catch Dewar up. He missed it a little bit because he's not he's not completely into the TikTok realm. But
it's but no, I think technique is important, and it's one of those things where you don't hate it till you try it. And I mean, I have very limited experience with the rotary, but it was one of those 30-pound Makitas that this was long before I knew the rabbit hole of the detailing world. And tried it and, had made mistakes and saw the mistakes on the paint. And I'm like, okay, that's what you can do with this. But, I could only imagine and I would see proper technique with it and the results that they would get. And again, it's don't hate it till you try it. And, I'm always willing to learn everything. And there's a lot of great comments in here about, just Ivan's experience over the past many years of just sharing all this knowledge. That they can then apply to either their business or hobby, however you do it.
Yeah. Yep. And at TR SEMA, Alex, I'll gladly. I always carry at least 3 rotaries with me. I think I have 4 or 5. But anyways, we'll gladly give you a one-on-one lesson on how to finish with a rotary.
Oh, there we go. Looking forward to it. A little behind the scenes action.
That's right. We're gonna have our own little corner rotary.
We'll have to head over to the jalopy jungle across the street and clear them out.
That's right. Pick us up a good hood.
We can do it right there. I have a cordless one too. So we don't even have to buy the hood. We just need to walk across the street with the polisher and the pad washer, and we're good.
Yeah, saving money. There we go.
One pad, 1 bottle of polish, and the pad washer. With that
would be a really interesting video to walk into a scrapyard and do it there.
Yeah.
The whole car.
Like rinseless wash the car, right? So you have like 1 bucket, 1 legacy sponge.
Yeah.
like
clay towel.
Some guy's gonna come get a taillight and be like, "Why has this car been here for so long? But so clean." Just coat the car in the junkyard too. Oh man, that'd be great.
Yeah. Anthony always goes in there looking at Hondas, so we'll do a Honda. That way he'll run across it and go, what happened?
Yeah.
Never seen a shiny Honda like this. So.
Oh, that's amazing.
We'll have to put that one in the schedule. So
the wheels are turning. I'm looking there.
Just asking quick the brand of rotary they like and model. Just while we're on the hot rotary talk.
Yeah, the Flex PE14-150. Yeah.
Scott Mattern says he has the PE14/2150. Which one is that? Is that a slightly different version?
No, it's actually 14-2-150. So
Okay, that's the one he says. 14-2-150.
Yeah.
So whatever Scott wrote in the comments, that's the one that Ivan and I love. It's
yeah.
I mean, if you've never tried a rotary, it's tough to be like, go buy that one, right? Like you've used the GA, you like it, you've heard about the sexy rotary, it's Mystic, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can I do it? Like, yeah, I want to conquer it because I started detailing and I learned it and I like learning things and I like getting better and whatever. That was me. And I got that flex and didn't use it for like a year, maybe 2 years. But when I finally got around to getting good at it, and I feel like I was good at cutting with it, right? We can have this discussion, but like it worked very well for me removing pigtails, after doing dual action sanding and everything. The rotary was the best way to do it, better than the dual action polisher I found in terms of generating heat and getting the cut. It's going to be worth every penny. So it's like if you want to buy something that lasts, these flex tools, man, we're not paid or sponsored at all. But they get dropped, they get dropped, they get dropped, they get yanked, they get dropped, and they just keep on going. Whereas like Rupes, great guys, but like the smoothest tools in the world. They're sexy for all the right reasons. They're very successful. They're big giants in the game. But I found that those needed servicing more often than the flex ones, and they got equally abused. So
sure.
But Rupes is a great company too. It's just flex will never die. That's my opinion.
Very nice.
They get beat up and they keep on going.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, gentlemen, let's wrap up the interview portion and then we'll get into this Q&A. I think we're slowly going into it, but the future is gold for DIY detail, I believe. So what's next for the brand and maybe some hints at some future products?
Ooh, the big questions. Yeah, we have a few new things coming out probably in the next 3 to 4 months. So, hopefully there's one thing that should be coming out sooner than later. We're getting into more coatings. So we'll have a what we call age statement coating. So it's going to last X amount of time. It's going to last X amount of time. So those are coming.
I didn't know we were ready. I didn't know we were ready to talk about those, big guy. You heard it here first, man.
You heard it here first. Yeah,
you heard it here first. We had to give them a scoop. Come on.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, exclusive.
That we have a waterless wash coming down the line, and a few other little things. I'm working on actually a rotary specific finishing pad. So the gold standard pad is great for finishing on a rotary, but I'm working with Lake Country to develop a whole new pad specifically for finishing with the rotary. So
very nice.
Should be a fun one.
What's funny is your audience that is jumped on board from the beginning and is going to continue to learn from y'all and go on the road is going to be like better detailers than like 90% of the industry in like 2 years. You're going to have them out there with rotaries finished down. Oh, it's going to be hilarious. But
I never understood the fear of the rotary. So.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, if you listen to Ivan and something doesn't compute and you're like, it all sounds too good to be true, like Ivan's true passion is for you out there who wants to detail and earn a living to do that and then be successful. Right. We're not talking about show-winning Riddler cars, right? That was always my obsession as a detailer. Like, having spent a lot more time in person with Ivan, especially over the last year, it's like, your methods work. And it's all about customer satisfaction and running a profitable business so that you can not only be a great detailer and business person, but have a life outside of here. So, again, don't knock it till you try it. Because Ivan wants you to be a successful human being. And we can talk about, spending 30 hours to make a car perfect, but that's usually not the same thing. As long as the customer's happy. And it's a very emotional thing, like I'm sure Jamie, Alex, you know this, right? You get so wrapped up in the car and how it is, and you want customers to keep calling you, and you have a tough time saying no to them, even if you have stuff going on in your life, because you don't want to, you don't want your business to succeed or fail, and it's your business, so it's so intertwined with like who you are as a person. And Ivan, if you just listen to him, he'll help you move through some of that stuff. You don't have to ignore it all, but like you can integrate it into how to be a successful detailer by using efficient, methodologies and knowing when enough is enough, especially on paint, And I've had to spend dozens of hours with Ivan working on paint to see where you can say, here, it's good enough. It's shiny, dude. Like, leave it. It's good, And I'd have been like, well, I need to sand this scratch out, and then I'm going to spend 15 minutes buffing it, and then I'm going to finish it down. There's this one little tick here, panel prep it, like insane, right? And I know people are out there, I wouldn't talk like this, who feel the same way. So just listen to Ivan, is what I'm saying.
Now let's answer some questions.
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
Do or take away.
Our first one from our good friend Eddie Cologne. Ivan and Nick, is there a all-in-one in the future that is sprayable? Kind of ties into the new product talk.
Yeah, that is. We're working on that. That one's going to be a little longer though to get to us, but probably last quarter or first quarter of next year.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Reminds me, y'all mentioned the spray polish can be used basically as a panel prep. Y'all sell a panel prep spray, but walk us through that a little bit, real quick.
So the spray polish, it is a pure polish. There's no fillers. There's nothing in it. So when you wipe it off, you're basically ready for coating. Now, we do suggest using the panel prep, but you can wipe it off with a rinseless wash and you're good to go. And not all rinseless washes you can do that. Ours you can.
Nice.
There you go. Them surfactants really cleans it up real good. I like it.
We have Compay LP have a question. 256-1 rinseless in the pad washer for clean pads.
Yes.
That's what I do.
Perfect.
Yep. 256-1 is basically everything. We rarely stray from that.
It's a sweet spot dilution for sure.
We had a guy email me.
Just run it 56-1.
Yeah, we had a guy email me. I'll try to look it up on my computer, and he wrote like 10 different questions on how to dilute the rinseless wash.
Yep. I get them all.
I responded. Every single dilution is 256-1, except for in the foamer, right? If you want more foam, you can add more product. And I'm like, even on like one of these little IKs, I might put 3 ounces in there because I like a lot of foam. You can try 2. I don't know. What do you think, Ivan, on the dilution? I don't have the numbers in my head, but if you want foam, you add more.
Yeah, so the IK foamer, the little Foam Pro 2, the small one, I fill it halfway with the 256-1 dilution out of the bucket, and then I add a capful. That's all it needs.
I add 2 ounces plus that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it foams so good.
Oh yeah,
I'll make a video of like usually if I'm diluting 32-ounce spear, I put a capful in, so that's 64-1, and I'll promote the video 64-1 drying this that's just easy, and someone will be like, you didn't do the right dilution for the rinseless wash as a drying aid. Right here on the label, it says 128-1. And
we're breaking the rules left and right. There we go.
I'm like, just put the rinseless wash in the thing and go to town.
Yeah,
exactly.
Work.
And Nick mentioning the email, that reminded me there was a comment that was left on the Instagram post from Jamie. We had someone asking, it was to detail it, was asking the pH of, I think it was all clean.
All clean.
You guys are right on it. Answered the question right there. pH of 12 looks like.
Yeah,
and we have our SDS sheets available. We have actually a QR code on every bottle, so you just put your camera over the QR code, and then you click on the link, and you have the SDS sheet right there.
Very cool.
Did we ever figure out the real pH of Incredible Suds? Because on the SDS sheet for Incredible Suds, it actually says like 6 to 10. So what's going on with that?
Our chemist says 8.5 for Incredible Suds.
It's
safe on sealants, wax coatings, not going to strip any of that. But as you guys know, and Jamie, you said, I believe it is the mayor or the king of Foamtown USA.
Number one rated foam. It's number one rated foam cannon soap in Foam USA.
There you go.
Very good.
Sheldon Clausen, apologies for butchering that name. So why are finishing pads always really soft if they micromark?
With a flat pad, you need to have a very soft pad in order for it to conform to the surface and finish. With a waffle pad, you've got a different interaction with the surface, and you can get away with a stiffer pad with the waffle pad. You can't do that with a flat pad. So flat foam pad is for cutting. A waffle pad, you can get away, like I said, with a much stiffer foam and still get the job done.
Nice. Garrett here asking, what grit sanding marks will the gold standard remove?
1,500. It will actually remove 1,000, but 1,500 is a safe bet.
Nice.
And that's pad, machine, technique dependent. But we've had
but that's
that
the wool
happen.
pad. Wool pad on a 21 millimeter DA. That's your machete, your chainsaw, however you want to look at it. That's the one that's going to mow it down. That's the term. Yeah. So cool. That's the big heavy duty lawnmower that's going to cut everything down.
We have Carlos asking, Ivan, when would you have the 5.5 inch yellow pad available again?
We're hoping for next week. We're sold out for the second time.
Out again. Them reels are going strong, man.
Yeah,
crazy. Flying off the shelves.
People are buying it, and unfortunately, anybody who has dealt with Lake Country manufacturing before knows that they make amazing products, but they're slow.
A little slow.
It's an 8 to 10 week delivery cycle that they have, so it's a little long.
Yep.
And when they're back in stock, you better use that promo code JAMA10, save you a little bit off the top.
And HM Auto Detailing saying one of the latest distributors of DIY detail, TOC Supplies next weekend. They'll be there at Motorama Show, hoping they'll be bringing the DIY products. So HM Auto Detailing, be sure to send them a message or an email to include that to sell it. And I think it'd be a hit there.
Oh, definitely. And, the people at TOC I had the pleasure of stopping in and meeting them. Just great people. So, and they really have a passion for the industry.
Yeah, and I'm not in Canada, and I don't know any of the folks who work there, but I follow them on social media, and I just love the vibe. Like the videos are clean, their warehouse looks ridiculously legit. They were very excited to take us on, and they support us by putting posts out about us, and I'm like, I feel like they're making waves in the industry, and it's cool to see.
100%.
It seems like it's good people behind the scenes wanting to do this right and take care of detailers. I saw they just came out with something where they're, if you I don't know, they have an affiliate program, or if you buy enough, you get points back. Just stuff to make it like more enticing to shop there. And I know that's not rocket science, but obviously they've evolved a lot in a year, and they're ready to kind of keep taking care of customers. And I don't know, that's the way I start to think now, because we have a business.
100% for sure.
It's fun to see a
we're
good
big fans of Owen in the game there.
Yep.
So Robert asking, what's the best way, I'm assuming, to clean pads if you don't have a pad washer?
Definitely not a pressure washer and not air. Those are great ways of destroying your pads. Basically, take it off your machine, soak it in your bucket of rinseless, massage it a little bit, squeeze it out as much as you can, put it back on the machine, spin it out, and you're good to go. A damp pad actually works better. So if you have two identical pads, dampen one, leave the other one dry, and feel them. There's a big difference in feel. The other advantage of a damp pad is you have no dry buffing anywhere. Right. So you don't need to, slather on 2 ounces of polish on the pad to prime it. Yeah.
That's the hot information right there.
Right. So my journalist mind says, okay, when you go ahead and take this clip later at 57:10, that's a short for your channel, Jamie, where Ivan, the old guy,
there we go. Already cooking.
Guru, talks about like everything he says about polishing is just like, oh yeah, that's so interesting, forgotten more than most of us will ever learn. So
that's what I need to do, is start turning these into shorts. I've been doing them long form, but it's just not popping. Shorts are definitely the way to go with these podcast clips. So great idea.
All right.
That's how my mind works.
Bit of a comment here from Detailer. Ivan needs to go back to slacks, dress shirts, and bow ties and dress shoes.
I agree. So that is that's my regular clothing. This is a costume. It's basically to fit the DIY mantra.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
But definitely my comfort clothes is a suit. So.
And we had a Compe LP. Do you need to put some little stainless steel balls in the gold standard polish to shake it like others? Sprayable polish. I don't.
Not at all. That was one of the design criteria, that it does not separate.
Very nice. Cool. Perfect.
Still good to shake it up before you use it, though. I don't know. It's just the way.
Yeah, I think that kind of goes for any chemical, really, that's been sitting for any period of time.
Yep.
Yeah.
But again, you would be surprised, right? And it doesn't mean that anyone is lesser than or whatever. Like, happens to me too. Or you forget to shake it, and you're like, oh,
yeah.
Just shake the dang bottle, no matter what you're using before. It's not a bad rule of thumb.
It's like when you forget to shake the ketchup or mustard bottle, then you just get water for the first little bit. So
exactly. How many times have you had
everybody's
a hot dog
been
or a
there.
hamburger? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or if you're like me and have too many chemicals, you need to go around every once in a while and shake everything, or you'll be surprised. Stuff will turn colors.
Oh, very much so.
But anyway, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Favorite 1-inch polisher?
Oh, actually, I didn't realize the time. We'll bring up here kind of as the last one to wrap it up.
Flex PXE80 with the 1-inch backing plate. Although that turns it into a rotary and not a dual action.
And
yes, we will be available in the UK. Ask your local stockist, the company that you like to deal with for DIY. There's 2 companies thinking about it, and a little push from viewers would help.
Start shaking those gates. But gentlemen, that's wrap us up here today. It's been an awesome podcast. So give us the plugs on the way out. I know Ivan's about to hit the road. We're about to be seeing him here in a month or so. But Nick, give us the plugs, and we'll get y'all out.
Hey man, we are on DIY Detail Instagram, DIY Detail on TikTok. We have a podcast available on all platforms as well. Trying to follow in your footsteps, Jamie and Alex, with a StreamYard podcast with guests. So if y'all have guests that you want to hear from in the industry, we're going to get Jason from Car Supplies Warehouse on Monday. We had Carlos last week. I'm hoping to link up with a lot of you folks in Chicago where we can do a lot of in-person interviews. And I don't know if people are into that. I know you guys already have it. There's lots of podcasts that interview people. But like, if you feel like there's someone that you want us to reach out to, or that Jamie, what collabs you want to do, like, we're just open. We want to communicate and just keep educating and making awesome products and having fun.
Very cool.
I liked your Carlos video package at the beginning. I was like, okay,
you like that?
Nick, I see you over there making video packages now.
Well, all right, like that. I did that in TV news for 14 years, so that pretty much wrote itself. I just soundbite, voice track, soundbite, voice track, soundbite, voice track. End on a crying soundbite, no. But no, he had a great video kind of telling his story, and he kind of teed it up for us. But just trying to add that little production value if it's there. But then again, poaching YouTube videos with like YouTube downloader that's going to give me viruses on my computer. That's kind of sketchy too. So I don't know.
I just screen record.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so smart. See, learning every day.
Very cool.
Yep. Just screen record the little clip you want and edit the chop the ends off. Good to go. Ivan, give us the plugs for LaCroix Cruiser and Detailer's Business Academy, and where are we gonna see you?
Well, basically look for my name. I've been accused of being omnipresent on social media, so I'm there. Love answering questions. What I do. Detailer's Business Academy is my business-focused YouTube channel for YouTube. Obviously, LaCroix Cruiser is how we built the bus and how we move around North America.
Very cool.
And the Detailer's Business Academy will be what's at TRCMA this year?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll have DIY Detail in Chicago.
Exactly.
That's right.
DBA.
That's right. DBA?
Okay. DBA, Detailer's Business Academy.
Oh, yeah.
Business as.
Very nice.
There you go. Dewar. You can find Dewar at Bucky VW. Bucky VW save you a little change at TOC Supplies. Cleaner Stash, link below. Amy 10 will say there. And also at DIY Detail. We're here, every Friday. We'll be back next Friday. And that's all for this one, gentlemen. Much appreciated. We'll catch you down the road.
Jamie, thank you, man. I appreciate it.